What's going on, you guys? It's your man James, aka JP, back again with some more Arcade1Up news and updates. So first and foremost, if you were part of my live stream yesterday or the day before, I just want to send a huge shout out, a huge thank you to everybody who came through, participated, hung out, asked questions, just had an overall good time and watched Arcade1Up's big reveals over at IGN. But if you didn't, well, I'm sure you're here for this video. So I did want to make a follow-up video to the reveals that were shown off yesterday, just because, let's be honest, not everybody's going to go back and watch an hour-long live stream. So I did want to make a shorter, like 5 to 10 minute video, just kind of talking about the reveals. And because there is some things that were noticed after the live stream, after the fact, after the initial reveals, that kind of cleared up some information and answered some questions that we had. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about these new reveals from Arcade1Up in IGN's Summer of Gaming presentation that was yesterday. So first and foremost, we're going to start off with my favorite cabinets of the bunch, but they did have a lot of questions surrounding them, and that is the X-Men vs. Street Fighter cabinet. Now, in the trailer, it was kind of hinted at, but not really explained upon, and they didn't even say it in the interviews with Scott after the fact. But in the trailer, it made it seem like there was going to be maybe different artwork variations of the cabinets, but actually there's 2 separate cabinets that are going to be coming out. So the first one is the one that we see on Arcade1Up's website, and that is X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Now that one is probably the least favorite out of the bunch, out of the 2 Marvel and X-Men cabinets, and that cabinet is going to come with X-Men Children of the Atom, which we already have on the Marvel Superheroes cabinet that is behind me, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, which is a Super Nintendo game, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and Marvel vs. Capcom #1. So let's start with this cabinet. This cabinet has a lot of people upset. Number one, because they recycled the X-Men Children of the Atom game that is on the Marvel cabinet. So if you already have the Marvel cabinet like me, you're not really going to be that inclined to pick up the X-Men vs. Street Fighter one, because that is a wasted game and now you're going to have duplicate games. So for me, that is a thumbs down. And then also, it has a Super Nintendo game on there, and while that Super Nintendo game, there's nothing wrong with it, Arcade1Up's target audience isn't people who want to play Super Nintendo ROMs. They want to play arcade games. So while it is a cool game, we have so many other ways to play Super Nintendo games, whether it's your Super Nintendo Classic, or you've hacked other systems, or you just have the physical game, or whatever the case may be. I just don't think that Arcade1Up's target audience really wants to play a Super Nintendo ROM, even though it is a good game nevertheless. Now, the other 2 games that come on here are really exciting, with X-Men vs. Street Fighter and the original Marvel vs. Capcom. I know a lot of people are disappointed that it's not Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but Marvel vs. Capcom 1 is still a solid game nevertheless. But what I do really love about this cabinet is the artwork. I think this one looks so much better than the other one. I just really love the artwork on this X-Men vs. Street Fighter cabinet. It's just really beautiful, and I love that bright red side panel. It just looks really, really amazing. Not a huge fan of the riser, but nevertheless, still good. And, you know, I love the design, not a fan of the game choices on here. Now, the other cabinet that I mentioned is a Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet. So the first one is an X-Men vs. Street Fighter. The next one is a Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet, and that comes with 5 games, 5 great, amazing games. So we have Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems, the original Marvel vs. Capcom, and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. So the games on this cabinet are amazing, and I'm not really sure why you would pick up the X-Men vs. Street Fighter cabinet over this cabinet, because you still get X-Men vs. Street Fighter on here, and you still get Marvel vs. Capcom on here, and that other cabinet, like I said, X-Men Children of the Atom is already on the Marvel cabinet, and X-Men Mutant Apocalypse is already, or it's not already on a cabinet, but it's a Super Nintendo game. So in my opinion, the Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet is the one to go for. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the artwork, and while it is just the artwork from Marvel vs. Capcom, it's still, I still like the the X-Men vs. Street Fighter cabinet way better. Just the games that come on this Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet, I mean, top tier, some of the best fighting games of all time. You really can't beat it, and you get 5 games. This is the first fighting cabinet that we've had with more than 3 games on it, I believe. Yeah, because Mortal Kombat had 3, and these all have 3. So this has 5 games. I would imagine the price point is probably going to be around like $400 or $500, just because you have those extra games on there, and it does come with the riser and whatnot. But yeah, the Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet looks absolutely incredible. That one's definitely on my radar, and I may end up picking that one up somewhere down the line. Now, the other cabinets that were revealed is Miss Pac-Man, and while I said yesterday I'm not personally that hype about it, I know so many people have been clamoring for a Miss Pac-Man cabinet, and I know getting the licensing for that cabinet is a really tough feat, so it's awesome to see that Arcade1Up was actually able to do that, and I really do love the cabinet design of it, but what I'm not a fan of is the game choices, and there is a little bit of confusion on the game choices. So if you check Arcade1Up's website, you will see that what is included is Miss Pac-Man, Galaxian, Pac-Mania, and Pac-Man Plus. However, in the interview yesterday, Scott said that the games that are going to be coming on here are
Miss Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Rally X, losing the fourth one right now.
So it is just a little bit confusing as to which games are actually coming on here. But if the games that are coming on here are the ones that are on Arcade1Up's website, that is also really disappointing because we've had Galaxian, Pac-Mania, and Pac-Man Plus on previous cabinets already. So it's just more recycled games, and to me that is just very disappointing, especially for anybody who was actually planning on picking up this cabinet and may own another Pac-Man cabinet or some of the other cabinets already that have those games included. So to me, you know, another recycling of games, another letdown. But moving on, they also revealed Big Buck Hunter, which I'm sure we all already knew was coming out. And Big Buck Hunter is going to come with Big Buck World, Big Buck Hunter Open Season, Big Buck Safari Outback, and Big Buck Hunter Pro. So I'm not a huge fan of the Big Buck Hunter series, and I don't think too many people are. I think there's just other better light gun games out there, but what's really interesting about this is it's going to open up the doors for Arcade1Up to make other light gun games down the line in the future. So that is really exciting in that aspect. I think it's a really cool looking cabinet. I think it is unique and so much different from the other ones. So, you know, it's exciting in that aspect. I'm not a big fan of the games, but it is going to be amazing to see what Arcade1Up does in the future down the line with other light gun cabinets and this light gun technology. And the last thing that they revealed was the Arcade1Up pinball machine, which is a Marvel pinball machine, which I think looks incredible. I love the design on it, and I think they said it was going to have 10 or so different tables installed in it, and it looks great. We don't know exactly how these Arcade1Up pinball machines are going to play yet, but if they play the way that they're promising it's going to play, it sounds really exciting. This is my favorite pinball machine that's been revealed so far. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to pick it up just because I don't really have the space for it, but if they do make it Back to the Future one, that's a day one purchase for me, definitely. So those are all the reveals from Arcade1Up during IGN's Summer of Gaming presentation yesterday. Overall, and I think a lot of people feel me on this, it was disappointing, mainly because they hyped it up so much. They said it was going to be mind-blowing and it was going to be one of the biggest announcements in arcade history, and to make claims like that, I mean, you really have to come with some crazy stuff. And coming with Miss Pac-Man was good, but because we've had so many other Pac-Mans, I mean, for me personally, I don't know, I could just be alone in this. Are you guys personally excited for Miss Pac-Man? I'm not, just because we've had a million other different versions of Pac-Man in Arcade1Up form. So for me, it's just kind of not that exciting, but I know so many people do want Miss Pac-Man, so I am happy for you guys. And while I am super excited about X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom, I mean, let's be honest, we have a ton of Marvel and Capcom fighters from Arcade1Up. We could have done without the X-Men vs. Street Fighter cabinet, in my opinion, but the Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet is really exciting. So that one is super exciting, but it didn't really blow my mind, mainly maybe because leaks had already came out during the day and that kind of ruined it for me. I'm not really sure. I am really looking forward to that Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet though. And the Big Buck Hunter Pro, I mean, we pretty much all knew that was coming, and like I mentioned, while I'm not that excited for it, it is great for the future of Arcade1Up to see what else they do with light gun technology. And the pinball one, you know, it is what it is. It's not like mind-blowing with it, but I mean, overall they were okay. Nothing was really bad in terms of what they announced or revealed or anything, but I wasn't completely mind-blown like I was expecting to be. So I think everybody was just a little disappointed in that aspect. But overall, I mean, solid titles. Let me know down below if you guys plan on picking any of these up or all of these up, because I know some of you are crazy like that and you pick up every single one. I just don't have the space or money for that. But that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys are interested in checking out my live stream from yesterday or the day before, there will be a playlist on the screen for you to click on if you do want to check that out. I would really appreciate it. If you're new here, make sure you guys subscribe and also click that notification bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. So as always, guys, stay tuned for more. I'll see you guys next time.
Shoot the buck. Don't shoot the doe.